Rossella, and today I'm going to be making a decadent Nutella Orange Grand Marnier Cake. And this is a marriage of two of my favorite flavors in the world, Nutella chocolate and orange. We're going to do a nice orange liqueur in it, and I'm going to get started. We're going to start by creaming some butter, whole stick of butter, and an entire jar of Nutella. Get that in here together. Nutella is a chocolate hazelnut spread. It's my favorite thing from growing up. So this cake brings back a lot of memories. Okay. And we have our Nutella and our butter together, and we're just going to cream them. We're using softened butter, so it's easier to mix. And we're also using unsalted butter. Okay. That looks pretty good. Now, to this mixture, we're also going to add half a cup of chopped hazelnuts. We're going to add 6 egg yolks. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of Grand Marnier. When I started making this cake, it originally called for Frangelico, which is a hazelnut liqueur, and that worked really nicely in this cake, but I wanted to make it orange, so I added Grand Marnier, which is an orange liqueur. I'm also going to add the zest of 1 orange. And I love using zest when I bake. The zest is what gives you a lot of flavor. So I got all my zest off of our orange. You just want to make sure that you only get the bright orange, and when you see white, move over. So just shake off anything that accumulated on your zester. And I'm also going to add the juice of half of this orange. And you can do this by hand, but this makes it a lot easier. You just go in and squeeze and twist, and this way you're going to get some pulp in. Okay. And we're ready to start mixing. Lock it down. And just make sure everything's all combined first. Okay? And you can see we have all of our ingredients combined in here. You can see little pieces of zest everywhere. And I'm just going to scrape everything off of our paddle. And we're ready to add some chocolate. And I'm going to melt some chocolate using a double boiler method. Just going to get a small glass bowl over a little bit of boiling water in a pot. And I'm going to add half a cup of semi-sweet morsels. And I'm using morsels today because if you were to use an entire bar of chocolate, you'd have to chop it up first, and this is just saving me some time. Scraper. And the steam from the water is going to start melting the chocolate really slowly. And I'm just going to give it a quick stir. And move it around a little bit so everything gets heated. You just want to stir it until all the lumps in your chocolate are gone. Beautiful. Okay, and I am going to grab an oven mitt to bring it over because it is very hot. You just want to get all your chocolate into your batter, and then we're going to fold it in. Okay. There we go. And we're just going to get batter from the bottom and move it over the chocolate. That's what folding is. Okay. Now when everything's combined, we're gonna get ready to beat some egg whites and lighten our cake up a little bit. Just gonna move our batter over to the side. And remember those 6 egg yolks we added to our cake? We have their lovely counterparts right here. I'm just gonna add a pinch of salt to these. And I'm gonna beat them with a hand mixer until we get some nice, stiff, shiny peaks. So I'm gonna start in a lower speed. And then we're gonna gradually increase the speed so we pump more and more air into our egg whites. So let's see if we got some stiff peaks yet. Oh, success! Take our beaters off, shake off any excess. And we're gonna get ready to add our whites to our batter. Just add a little bit first, just to get it comfortable. Warm it up a little bit and mix ever so gently. And it makes like little bubbles. So you don't want to add them all at once because then they're all going to pop at once and you're going to have some liquid egg whites. So now that our egg whites made friends with our batter, we're going to just add the rest of it in. Whee! Okay. And we're going to fold the rest of these in. We all remember what folding is. You're going to start to see little white flecks in your batter. And this is what's going to give our otherwise dense cake a little bit of a fluffier texture. Remember, we're not using any flour in this. That looks great. And our cake is ready to be baked. We have a 9-inch springform pan that has been buttered, so we don't want any sticky problems later. I've tried this with nonstick spray before, and I do like butter a little bit better. I just, feel like it just slides right out when you separate your springform. It doesn't give you any problems. All right. We have our batter in our pan, and we are ready to bake this at 350 degrees for 40 minutes. And when it's done, you're going to see that it's going to start to pull away from the sides of the pan, and you're going to touch it, and it's going to bounce right back up. So let's just get that in there. And luckily, we have a cake that's already done and been cooled. Now, see what I'm talking about with the pulling away from the pan? So we're ready to do my favorite part of this cake, and we're gonna make a ganache for it. And a ganache is a really simple frosting that is made out of heavy cream and melted chocolate. I'm gonna first start our ganache with a half a cup of heavy whipping cream, and we're gonna scald it. Get it really, really, really hot. And to my heavy cream, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of Grand Marnier because I really want to taste the Grand Marnier in the ganache especially. So the cake is baked at a really high heat and a lot of the flavor is going to dissipate. So you're going to add 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to wait for all the little bubbles to start going crazy in my heavy cream. I'm going to get ready to add my chocolate to a second pan that's not going to have any heat. Again, another half a cup of semi-sweet morsels. Now there are a couple different ways that people make ganache. Some people just melt everything together. You melt your chocolate in the heavy cream. Some people melt the chocolate first and then add the heavy cream to it. I do it a little bit differently. I am actually going to scald my heavy cream first and then add it to chocolate that hasn't been melted. And I'm going to let it stand for a little bit before I start stirring it, just to make sure everything melts the right way. Okay. This is ready to go right over our chocolate. Beautiful. Now I'm going to let this stand for about 3 minutes before I start stirring it. I want everything to melt correctly and evenly. Our heavy cream has been sitting in our chocolate for about 3 minutes, and now I'm ready to stir. and make the magic of ganache happen. Okay. Now it's gonna start to look like a thick chocolate sauce. And you want to stir it until you get your desired thickness. And there you go. How great does that look? Now, I know you're really anxious to frost your cake, but you don't want to do it with ganache that's really hot. You want to let this cool for about an hour before you start frosting anything, because if you frost a hot cake with hot ganache, it's just going to melt all over the place. It's going to be a mess. Luckily, I have some cooled ganache right here. I'm just going to put that right here for now. And I'm going to open up our springform pan. And I'm going to set our cake on top of a beautiful cake stand. And now all you do is grab a spatula and you're going to start pouring your cooled ganache over your cake. Oh, wow, that looks amazing. Okay. Now what you want to do is with a spatula, start to move the ganache around the top of the cake and push it just a little bit over the edge so that it drizzles over. And to top this beautiful cake off, we're going to add some toasted hazelnuts. And to toast these, you just toast them for about 4 or 5 minutes in a toaster oven. If you want to remove all the skins, just put them on a hot towel and rub them so most of the skins come off. And just decorate. Oh, that looks perfect. And for a final little garnish, we're going to add a little bit more orange zest. And I'm using a special tool that gives me perfect little curls, just because it's prettier. I hope you've enjoyed my entire love affair with Nutella, and especially this Nutella Orange Grand Marnier Cake. Now, go try and make one, and I'll report whether it's good or not. You know, send me a picture, and I'll decide. So, I'm going to go eat this, and bye-bye.